All right, great. So I guess we have to start again by introducing ourselves. Okay, we're a little behind schedule, but I'm sure we'll be able to catch up. So I'll start with myself, and then we can go with Magdalene and Leah. So I'm Dr. Izine Ezekwe. I'm a lecturer of film at the Department of Theatre and Film Studies, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I am also part of the NF is Eastern Nigeria International Film Festival. I have been very interested in film festivals. I'm not much of a filmmaker, but I teach film. I'm a film critic, and I like to analyze films.
Okay, thank you, Isni. My name is Magdalene Reddy. I am the manager at the Durban Film Art Institute. The Durban Film Art is a co-production and finance market that has been running for 12 years. And it's a place for African filmmakers and content creators to engage and to meet financiers and just to connect with the industry. I have also been working in the film industry for many years in terms of creating a platform for showcase and the exhibition of film. So I've worked at the Durban International Film Festival. And most recently, my company has been putting on the European Film Festival in South Africa. So film, although I'm not a filmmaker, I am an enabler of film and filmmakers. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Leah Beltrami from Italy. I'm a filmmaker. I make documentaries since 30 years. I've made 45 documentaries. And the new one is the Italian documentary most awarded around in the world film festivals. So I'm very happy for this. And my stories are always stories of hope and giving voice to the voiceless. So for this, I founded the company Aurora Vision, that I'm the president of. And 25 years ago, I founded Religion Today Film Festival. And now I help film festivals all around in the world to find documentaries to get connected.
I will also introduce myself too. My name is Godfrey Omorodion. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a public servant. I work with Edo State government. I work in the payroll department as a payroll administrator. I founded Benin City Film Festival about 4 years ago, and that's 2018 to be precise. And this is our 4th edition. And I'm happy to be friends to you all who are filmmaker and film industry facilitator. And thank you. I welcome you all.
Thank you, Godfrey.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. A pleasure to meet everybody. So we just hit it and go straight to the point. So the first thing I'd like us to share, obviously for the benefit of filmmakers who'll be listening in or watching us much later, is our personal experiences. And we're talking about this earlier, personal experiences of the pandemic. What was it like? What was it like? How did you feel the pinch personally especially as it relates to filmmaking? We'll go with you, Magdalene.
All right. Thank you, Isne. So personally, in South Africa, the coronavirus has been widespread for the last, over 18 months. At the start of the pandemic, most industries shut down. In fact, eventing, the creative industries were completely non-existent. There were no film productions taking place, no festivals taking place. Artists and filmmakers have been really struggling to make ends meet, to have a livelihood over this period, because the pandemic has completely destabilized the country and the economy. what I do know that in the film industry, after 4 or 5 months of the film making started again, but it started on a very small level and not across the country, but in our big studios, which is in Cape Town. And even then, it had to be followed. You had to follow very, very strict COVID protocols, and that meant like ensuring COVID tests are regularly done, ensuring that people live in a bubble, meaning that the film crew, the actors would all stay in the same hotel for a long period of time, so that engagement with the outside world was not was limited to actually reduce the spread of the virus. That meant additional costs, add-on costs in terms of productions, but the industry has slowly been opening up. We finished the 3rd wave of the virus, and we've told that the 4th wave is sure to come in December or January. So, but I think there are ways now in which people are learning to protect themselves. Mask wearing is compulsory, but just besides that, it's just being safe on set. And that's something that's being highlighted in the filming world. But in terms of the space I come from, the festival and market world, we have over the last 2 years moved our events online. The festival I run has attracted, we've actually doubled our audiences. Even the Film Mart, we've doubled our audiences because we've been able to extend our reach. So as much as there is the downsize or the negative impact of COVID, there has been some positives, and that being the fact that we have a wider reach on the online platform. There are others, but I think I'll end there and we can talk about more after this.
Thank you very much. You've shared quite a lot, actually. Yes, and yeah, I'm happy that people are beginning to learning to protect themselves more, given that across Africa, I think South Africa was the worst hit, and we don't want to lose anymore, not in the industry. And not anymore. So let's speak with you, Leah. What is or was or has been your personal experience? I know that Italy also was terribly hit as well. What was your experience? How has it affected you as a creative artist? I mean, personally, and your work?
So it affected really a lot, especially on the first wave, March 2020, for example, in the elderly house, in the house for elder people in my village, half of the people died. So these were the numbers. So we had a 2-month complete lockdown. It means even not going out of home. So it was a disaster from a human point of view. I live in the north of Italy, so the most affected area. So first of all, I was in March, I should have been in United States for filming a documentary with Nina Davuluri, Miss America, on the skin color. She is first Miss America of Indian origins. We have been last January to India to film the first part about denouncing the skin lighting industry and the bad effects on the population. In March, we should have been in the United States, and in April in Ghana and possibly in Nigeria. So from one day to the other, everything was canceled and the project stopped. So personally, I spent 3 days in dark totally because I didn't understand what was happening. I knew I had to keep the spirit up, lifting up the spirit. And I had to think what to do with everything, with the work and everything. So after 3 days of letting me down, I decided to stand up and face the situation. So for the documentary, I decided to edit only the India and Bangladesh episode, and let's say keep it open for the future for Africa and America and Europe. So I hope now the documentary is finished and it will be distributed in United States, and I'm really happy about it. In the meanwhile, with Nina Davuluri, we decided, okay, as filmmakers, we need to do something to take on our campaigns. So with the footage I was not using for the editing the documentary, I made a campaign. And Nina spread the campaign, and in April and May last year, it became very strong to ask to the big names of the cosmetics to remove all the words like fair and lovely, white is beautiful, fair and beautiful. And I should say that the video part supporting was very important, a cinematographic campaign. And the campaign went very well. Millions of people signed it. And in the beginning of June, Unilever announced raising the name Fair and Lovely. And also, so, I mean, it was really strong mood, and the New York Times dedicated to our campaign one page in June last year. Cinema, even in lockdown, could make a change. And briefly, I also had to change programs. Switch one microphone. Switch off. Switch one microphone. Switch off. So okay. So I had to, even I couldn't go to film my documentaries all around in the world until this summer. So I dedicated myself in writing a book, Picnic, the Art of Living, how to live in making picnics, watching movies and making picnics a little bit light. And then I organized a photographic exhibition who was held last week in the Vatican from a Bangladeshi photographer. And I filmed 2 documentaries in Italy, which was the first time in my life, because I always filmed in Africa or Asia or South America. So I filmed a documentary in the gypsy camps during the COVID, and it just came out 3 days ago. So that was my time. And finishing, I also tried to keep together festival directors. We organized during the first lockdown the red carpet, the virtual red carpet of indie cinema, things like that. I mean, to keep us united and not let us down. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leah. And I see, thank you for sharing your personal experience. It's sad that a large number of people could not travel. I know about filmmakers in Nigeria who had, projects to have to do with other countries, and they could not travel because there was that lockdown. We couldn't travel. There was this international ban on travel. I mean, bans on international travels and the rest of those. But let's look at the larger industries. You have spoken about yourselves. I'm happy, Magdalene, you are someone who your company deals directly with filmmakers. We want to hear the filmmakers' experiences. And it's sad we don't have any filmmaker on ground except for you, Leah. But let's look at the various countries that are represented here. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, please, there's somebody here that can also answer that question. Is Pedi Okao? You can ask him that question. Thank you.
Okay, so okay, that's fine. I want someone to actually, I'm sure he's a Nigerian filmmaker, right? So let's speak about the industry at large. What has been the impact, or what was, now we're speaking in the past in Nigeria, because I know filmmakers have now gone back to making films as though life is back to normal. So, but what was it like at the time of the pandemic, and what do you think was the impact of this?
Okay, hello, my name is Pedi Okao. The pandemic, as we realize across the globe, came like a thief. As at the time it came upon us here in Nigeria, many projects were commissioned.
The hold back on
yeah, because it was a period of the year where projects are you here? Okay. It was time of the year where projects are actually being executed here. And when it came, we all had to put a stop to all projects. And in fairness, we felt it was going to last for a few weeks. Weeks developed into months, and it became obvious to us that we do not know when it was going to end. At that point, under the law subsisting in Nigeria, those contracts were classified frustrated. And any frustrated contracts here in Nigeria cannot be prosecuted. Defaults cannot be prosecuted. And so investments and even payouts, advanced payouts were were lost as a result of that. People were kept at home. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we were not paid for being at home. Government did not support our being at home. And that, of course, affected every filmmaker here. We were worse hit because monies are usually paid on project by project basis. So without projects, the impact was significant on our practitioners here. As if that is not enough, even the cinemas, for those projects that were already completed, the cinemas were closed for the period. So exhibition was practically impossible. Distribution companies were closed down, so it wasn't even possible to take advantage of the online distribution platforms. So the only thing that was available to us was the YouTube, which was a voluntary upload platform whose monetization policy does not actually return investment returns on capital. So it was a lose-lose situation for Nigerian practitioners. I want to stop there and take your reaction.
Can I add there? I think what Pedi has shared is quite interesting, because that is very much the similar experience that we had here in South Africa. Besides filmmaking not happening, our cinemas have been shut down. Our cinemas have, no one could go to the cinemas, and nobody, we have opened up the cinemas, I think within the last 2 months, but going to cinemas have changed completely. I think the way consumers are, the way the public is consuming film content has changed. Netflix is becoming really strong with people watching, family sitting at home and watching content. I think that's one of the reasons why our film festival this year has actually doubled their numbers, because we found that people have got used to watching films at home. Obviously, that causes a huge disruption in the distribution models of distributing films. And filmmakers now have to find new ways of either getting Amazon or Netflix to get their films, but I'm not sure when cinemas will be able to function at high capacities again, because COVID is not yet over, and we just hope that they can recover from this. In South Africa, one of our big cinema house, Ster-Kinekor, has gone into business rescue. They had actually closed down some of their venues, and it's sad because that's people's livelihoods gone with that. So we do hope that there would be things change very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, Leah, back here in Nigeria, post-COVID, we are still experiencing 1/3 capacity of revenue from cinemas, because we cannot admit, because of the social distancing policy that is still in place here. We cannot take more than 1/3 of the revenue. Secondly, the COVID-19 period also got us to our drawing table. And we as an industry, in a sub-industry of the Nollywood industry in Nigeria, were able to also plan out an online distribution or exhibition platform called Igodo TV. It operates squarely like the Netflix, but along language windows, because Nigeria is a language proliferated country. We have more than 200 languages, within the country. We are consolidating on that, and we hope that post-COVID, that will raise the figures. Thank you.
Yes, I tell you that the opportunity of VOD and platforms came out much stronger. And maybe, okay, for the big film production and normal distribution in cinemas, everything was stuck. We just got back to cinema with our films 3 days ago, but still with masks and everything, and the people are not really going out to cinema. But on the platforms, the key point is really to be well organized. To be well organized for the film distribution on platforms, and to have good contracts. Because sometimes, because everyone is starting platforms and things, but not all of the time, not always there are fair contracts for the filmmakers. So we must be, we must rise up the voice to have fair contracts and be very aware when we sell our films to the platforms. We are working with a very good distributor in Los Angeles, and VOD distributor, Indie Right Movies, and they started distributing African film almost eight years ago. So I think we should really make a strong connection nationally and internationally for the platforms. And then another point is, when our film is on a platform, it doesn't mean there is a true marketing. So we have to build our own marketing strategy, because when your film is to a distributor in cinemas, usually, yes, it works and they do the marketing. But when it's on a platform, usually there is no marketing strategy. So we really need to work on that as well. So we have the problems to start again film production, but then we have new opportunities on the platforms. I have 2 of my documentaries on Netflix Europe, and 6 of them on Amazon Prime. And so I say, yes, it's a good opportunity, but we must learn also to be filmmakers and marketing strategy experts as well.
I copy.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I was lost for some time. I really don't. Yes, we can hear you, Godfrey. Sorry, I was lost for a bit. I was disconnected for some time.
President, we are still
I don't know
on
how
you.
far you've gone.
Dr. President, we are still on you.
Okay, great. So, you wanted someone to share the Nigerian experience. Did he finally share that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I would like us to talk about the industries now. In as much as we shared personal experiences, are we able to talk about the industries in general? What did we lose in this pandemic? For instance, if there were to be pandemics in the future, will the industry stand still? Are there way forward? What can we do? Did we think that things went wrong, or some decisions were wrongly made for the industries? What could be done in the future, considering situations where something in this manner repeats itself? So we start with, what did the industry lose? Were there decisions that were taken wrongly for the industry specifically? How do we go forward in situations of the pandemic for the industries? And when we talk about film industry, we're also looking at film festivals as well. So Godfrey, obviously, you are going to come in here and talk about film festivals. All right, so should we start with the Nigerian Experience and then go to Italy and then come to South Africa?
Okay. In Nigeria, the rules were predicated on the laws, the emergency laws that erupted, for the country. Most of those rules the industry was not consulted before those rules were put together. There was this national body that was responsible for COVID management in Nigeria, broken down to that of states, local governments, etc. But they took unilateral decisions without consulting the individual, industries. But even when they started considering the plight of the various industry, the entertainment industry was blanked out completely. So we really didn't have rules, that could come in handy for ourselves, but to rely on the rules made by the country. But unfortunately, fortunately, the industry players also came together, to review those laws and see how we could adapt, generally. So going forward, if there's going to be a pandemic, of course, a pandemic is a global phenomenon. And because of that, all relevant industries, in fact, all industries, no matter how little, we feel should be consulted with a view to streamlining the best defense mechanism or system to adopt for the film industry in Nigeria. We could have also had our festivals online and all that stuff, but we needed permission, and that permission had to be considered, extraordinarily, because it wasn't factored into the rules that were predicated, to govern the pandemic period. And that took a lot of time, almost to the end of the pandemic. I stopped there.
All right, thank you very much. We go to Italy. Leah, do you want to share your experience? Sadly, Magdalene had to go, but we still have you. Leah, can you share the national experience and what the laws, the rules and perhaps laws that were put in place, how did they affect the filmmakers, and how differently could things have been?
So yes, in Italy, we had from the part of the filmmaking, in March 2020, they forbidden all the work of filmmaking, of the crew filming together. They opened it up in, was it maybe August? So some big film crews started in September, October. But then more film crews were affected by COVID in October again, so they closed again. They opened it up again, what was in May, end of May this year. So this summer started again film production. But of course, because it was impossible to raise the money, a lot of film production stopped. So now we have a small number of new films that came out in Italy. Now it is possible, just keeping the rules with tests every 2 days, PCR and masks and everything. But it's really still a bit hard. Some films came out. What is started working really a lot is the films for the TV series, for the platforms. So they were very quick, and they started, even all the film industry, colorists, sound, editing rooms, everyone is working for the web series or a TV series. But then for the distribution and the cinemas were closed. They opened it up outdoor cinemas this summer, and they opened it with 50% in September indoor. And now, just last week, they started again with a full 100% of public. But I don't know how long it will go, because situation in Europe is starting again to be very bad. So with this situation, even for film festivals, it was quite hard. Even we had Religion Today Film Festival was held last year in September. It was the only festival in presence. And this year again in September, but we had little international guests because it was forbidden from many countries to travel to Italy. So from the film festival perspective, it was really, really hard. And it's very important to do at least something in presence. You can do something online, but you need to do something in presence, because we cannot surrender to be completely online. We need to see people, to be one in front of the other, and to share the collaboration, true collaboration. But still, let's go, it's good online, because at least we are not wasting all the contacts and all what we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leah. And then I'll come to you, Godfrey, because you are a festival organizer as well. How did the pandemic affect film festivals, especially in Nigeria and beyond? I know a number of festivals on last year went virtual, including your one. So what was the experience? What was the experience for film festivals within Nigeria and, you know, Africa in general, Nigeria specifically, and your personal experience?
Okay, Godfrey is not on seat right now, but I'll speak on his behalf. In Nigeria, first, like I pointed out before, the initial rules that were developed by government to govern the pandemic period itself didn't give room, you know, for individuals or corporate organizations to even, you know, attempt to even go online from the beginning, because it was not factored in. We were not consulted. But as the industry players put heads together, they made the application, and after a while, the approval came. However, the festivals that went online had issues because Nigeria is not completely gotten the network reaches and what have you. The providers had issues too, and so the internet situation was a bit down here. However, a few festivals also attempted, just like you were out for some minutes just now. You know, we were experiencing losses of participants and all that stuff, but we were able to patch it all together. But the bottom line was that to encourage people to get online, we needed to get them to register for free. That's it.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. So the idea of registering free of charge, was that predicated on the pandemic? Or is that something that festivals usually would do? Some festivals usually would do free entries.
Not all festivals in Nigeria, but the pandemic, brought the online experience to us almost because we're used to physical presence and a little of online participants. I mean, a participation from those outside the country and especially outside Africa. But the pandemic had to, because most people would not come online, because if you ask them to pay, they find it difficult because they were all locked up in their homes without government financial support.
Oh, I get it. Thank you very much for sharing that. I don't know if we still have Paddy Okao with us. I like him. Is Leah, and it's also thank you, Leah, and also Magdalene before she left, or shared with us new opportunities that the pandemic actually opened up in their various countries for filmmakers. What opportunities did the pandemic open up for? In every disappointment, they said there's a blessing, right? What opportunities did the pandemic open up for Nigerian filmmakers in terms of production, distribution, and otherwise? What opportunities do we have now that we didn't like maximize before the pandemic?
Who is expected to take that, please?
Okay, no, I was asking about Paddy Okawa. I'm sure he's a filmmaker in Nigeria, right?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Any other filmmaker. I see you are all in group there. Yes, please, if you can attempt to share, give us insight into the Nigerian experience of that. What opportunities have opened up for the Nigerian filmmakers that either they were there or they weren't there before, but they haven't been maximized prior to the pandemic?
Yeah, while we lost you shortly, we shared a little bit of that. For us in Nigeria, it was the opportunity it provided was to seriously consider the online, distribution and exhibition experience. Because we were all locked at home, there was the only way we related to each other was online. And we built policies that will also, be predicated on online experience going forward. Shortly before the pandemic, we had engaged, a policy of developing community cinemas across our various communities, about 100 of them, which was put on hold. So the resources were diverted to developing online platform, and we got ours, like I shared, igodo.tv, which of course we are trying to advertise very strongly. Over to you.
All right,
please.
great. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Okay, so while try and get this rounded up, because we're supposed to stop at 1 o'clock. But yeah, way forward for the creative artists. especially in terms of collaborations across borders. But boundaries are now open, and some people are threatening to go back into lockdown and all of those. Have you worked out a way forward in terms of collaborating? You know, Nigeria collaborates with Ghana and the rest of those, and some people are going into Hollywood. We have Italians here. We can actually collaborate with them. What is the way forward in terms of collaboration post-pandemic? Have we thought about that for those people who had it in mind to make films with other people from across the borders, and then all of a sudden pandemic hits? Have we worked out alternative like plan B? Suppose something like this happens, suppose there's a lockdown, how do we overcome them as possible challenges to not hold us down in terms of producing for the local and international markets? Leah, should we start with you and then we'll come down to Nigeria?
Yes,
and Leah, obviously this speaks very well to you, especially because we were talking earlier about the things you were doing with Miss America that was actually put on hold. If you're planning stuff like that in the future, such collaborative work in the future, and then something like this hits, have you worked out a plan on what you could do? Of course, that could help other filmmakers listening in or, going forward.
So 1 week ago, I would have been a little bit more energetic about this point. But with the last days in Europe, I'm a little bit, I'm trying to find the balance. So I was thinking to start again to plan for March, April about going back to the international collaborations. But maybe I think I'll be waiting until May, because this winter time will be a key point, so we can take our time to find new partners, for example, to find sponsors, to find people who can support us, take our time to refine the projects, and then wait at least until next May to see how we can go on this winter time, which is really, really crucial. So, and it's also very difficult to travel right now. I've been to Russia, to a very important film festival 3 weeks ago. And I tell you, it was really hard. PCR, check-in here, $130 for a PCR at the airport, before starting, after landing. I mean, everything is complicated. But in our new ways, we can just go on working with the online, and we can find new collaborations. Because, for example, the old companies, some are closing, but there is a new world coming on, so we can really try to find. We can be more present on the web. We can build a lot of new relations on the web. I started my own page, website with blog. It's on leahbeltrami.it. And also I publish every week articles, maybe how to make a documentary, how to make the best in a film when you go to a film festival, or things like that. So, I mean, we can improve and go on with what we can in this situation. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. In essence, what you're saying is that virtual world is a place to be right now. So any filmmaker who doesn't have a virtual online presence is actually doing him or herself this service. That's right? Okay, let's get back to Nigeria. I don't know any other filmmaker who is in the Godfrey's team right now. I see you guys are in a crowd. Okay, anybody who is willing to attempt. What is the way forward for Nigeria, for Nigerian filmmakers? What should we do going forward? How do we plan how do we plan in terms of planning for plan B, suppose something like this happens? And we're also right now, we're talking about international collaborations for filmmakers, whether upcoming or potential filmmakers or established filmmakers who want to collaborate? How do they begin to plan the future post-pandemic?
Okay, this is still petty. There is a general consensus here that I should continue with the conversation. For Nigeria, our greatest concern is interrogating the international treaties. You know, we need the international treaties. We need to be tweaked a little to accommodate, you know, issues of the pandemic and frustrated contracts, so to speak. If we have a collaboration going forward with another country, for instance, we would like a situation where, you know, that collaboration deal will subsist even after the pandemic, rather than you know, that probably will call for insurance, you know, to undertake losses arising from such agreements, you know, within the collaborating countries. To lose 100% makes pandemic very difficult for one to plan, you know, for the future. If that is not considered very urgently, we'll probably find a situation where we have very short-term collaboration deals, you know, because our losses are underinsured or not insured completely. Going forward too, here in Nigeria, we agree completely that, you know, virtual presence is the way to go. But that, as it may, we need to research into possibilities of creating movies even during a pandemic. For that, Nigeria is looking very strongly at animation, because if animation was strong enough in Nigeria, we could have, you know, chunked out a lot of animated films during the period, and that would have kept the bottom line capital of the industry going, rather than shorting it to zero. Thank you. Now. Are you still there?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. I am right here. And I've been saying thank you so much for all you've been sharing with us, from South Africa to Nigeria to Italy. We have all been very concerned. Those of us in the academics, those of us who are in the industry practicing, we've been really worried about way forward, going forward, what should we be doing? And I do like that online presence is way to go. And what you're saying about animation, I worry about the cost though. I know it's not the money for filmmaking is not easy to come by. So I don't know the caliber of present people who are attending BCFF right now. For young filmmakers or aspiring filmmakers, what would you say to them about animations? What about sources for fundings and the rest of the animation? Is it something one does, you know, like our films there, with low budget? Everyone is advocating for low budget films. Actually, in my school, we try to get young ones to make films using their cell phones and the rest of those. What is funding for animation? Is it something that is that affordable for everyone to do? You know, quality animation that can be put online for consumption nationally and beyond.
For the young
and that's
filmmakers,
for you. Peddy, let's continue with you. Okay.
All right. For the young upcoming filmmakers in Nigeria, my personal advice is for them, you know, to set up a corporate structure that will enable them access funding, you know, for animation, films generally, but animation precisely. Here in Nigeria, there is a huge support from government, except that they are channeling such resources through a merchant bank, a development bank, the Bank of Industry, and they are giving such funds out at single-digit interest rates. Yes, in terms of budget, it is also possible to control budget for animation. It's something we are also, we have delved into, shortly before the pandemic, and I'm sure we'll master it going forward, and we'll continue to find ways of reducing budget. But I don't think that funding will be a problem if you have corporate presence and corporate structures, with which you can apply for such funds. Because the entertainment industry is very important to the federal government of Nigeria. As oil depletes, entertainment seems to be, what the new concern is for government. And going forward, government is ready to make that to make funding available to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For those of us who are not able to be physically present at BCFF, Godfrey, I don't know where he is. I don't know whereabouts he is right now, but I'd like to answer this question. I'm very curious about the number. Okay, great. Okay, I'm very curious about the number of submissions we got this year for animation. How is it doing internationally and in Nigeria as well? What is the submissions like, or the entries like for animation?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. For this year, BCFF had about 78 entries and about 4 animation, short animation, and that's not very, very encouraging for us, especially when we have some young people, especially primary and the secondary school that wants to watch, because we have some of them that came and they were actually looking at seeing animated movies, but we didn't really have much to show them. So for this year festival, I think because of the pandemic, we had very minimal submission of about 73 entries. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been so nice hanging out with everybody here. I know this session was supposed to end at 1 o'clock and now it's 1:19. So we have to run. I really want to thank everyone, except there's something else Godfrey wants to say. But I want to say a big thank you to all the filmmakers who graced BCFF this year. I want to thank you, Leah, for hanging out with us all the way from Italy. Thanks to Magdalene Absentia. She had to go, but thanks for hanging out with us from South Africa. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all from Enugu State as well. Thank you so much. Godfrey, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone for honoring our invitation. I really want to say that with this CC Film Festival, I've been able to attract some kind of collaboration. Dr. Ezine is in Enugu, Madeleine is in South Africa, Leah is in Italy, and some other persons that we are into collaboration with. And that's a great one for us. And I want to also use this opportunity to let us know that the collaboration must continue, whether there is pandemic or not. Please to also say thank you when we invite you next time to join us. Please be part of it. And some of us that are here will want to also say thank you. Please a round of applause for the panel. And yeah. Then before we go, I'd like to also say that Leah will be delivering a workshop tomorrow. She'll be facilitating a workshop tomorrow on the documentary, making of the documentary. So let's join her by 12 p.m. And I think it will be a worthwhile experience for us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Godfrey. Thank you, Etienne. You are amazing anchor woman. And thank you very much, Benin City Film Festival. You are doing great. And let's hope to be in the world more and more. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, President. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. All right.
Yeah, God bless you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Yes,